Getting rich. It's a phrase that shows up in books, ads, dreams, and dinner conversations. But what does it really mean? And more importantly, does it depend only on personal effort? Or does the place where you live quietly shape your odds? Today, we're not going to talk about shortcuts or overnight wealth. We're going to explore something a bit deeper. Countries where the environment, economy, and culture seem to gently nudge people toward wealth, rather than push them away from it. This isn't about perfection. No country has it all figured out, but some places make the journey a little smoother. For entrepreneurs, for investors, for people with modest beginnings who want to grow something over time. Let's explore 10 of these places, not as a checklist, but as a reflection on how geography, systems, and social trust shape opportunity. Singapore. Singapore is small in size but vast in ambition. It's a place where business feels like part of the culture, baked into daily life. Like rice and weather forecasts, what makes Singapore unique is its combination of efficiency and security. The tax system is simple, corruption is low, regulations are clear, and the government invests heavily in infrastructure and education. If you're building a company or starting from scratch, you'll find support here, not just in the form of policies, but in the collective mindset. Wealth is seen less as luck and more as a product of structure and consistency. Switzerland. Switzerland isn't loud about its wealth, but it has mastered the quiet art of preserving and growing it. This is a country where financial services are not just industries, they're traditions. Stability is the rule, not the exception. And the neutrality that once made it a safe haven for diplomacy now makes it a haven for capital too. Beyond banks and investments, Switzerland respects privacy and precision. And for many, that's a fertile ground for long-term prosperity. Not through fast wins, but through careful steps and disciplined planning. United States. Yes, the U.S. has deep inequality. Yes, healthcare is expensive. Yes, education can be a burden, but it still holds one thing that's rare: the open permission to try, fail, and try again. The American economy rewards risk-takers, and the sheer scale of its market means that even niche ideas can turn into billion-dollar companies. There's also a cultural belief in reinvention. You can switch careers at 40, launch a business at 50, go bankrupt, and come back. In many countries, failure is a scar. In the U.S., it's often just chapter 1. Canada has a slower rhythm, but sometimes slower is safer, and safety gives people space to take thoughtful risks. With strong public services, access to health care, and a relatively stable cost of living, outside a few major cities, Canadians can experiment with business. And investing without the constant fear of collapse, there's also a quiet encouragement of education, innovation, and equity. Wealth here isn't always flashy, but it tends to last because it's built on balance, not burnout. Australia feels far from the rest of the world, but in many ways it's deeply connected, especially when it comes to trade, resources, and real estate. It has one of the highest minimum wages globally, strong consumer protection, and a property market that, while expensive, has made many people quietly wealthy over the decades. But perhaps more than that, it offers a cultural openness. Entrepreneurship is welcome, failure is tolerated, and the government has a track record of stepping in when things wobble too hard. Germany's relationship with money is one of patience. It's not about speculation, it's about systems. The education is affordable, apprenticeships are respected, engineering is everywhere, and small to medium enterprises called Mittelstand form the quiet backbone of its economy. You might not see sudden millionaires on every street, but you'll see generations of families building, saving, expanding without the need for constant reinvention. Wealth in Germany is often a product of reliability, not volatility. United Arab Emirates, UAE, Dubai gets the headlines. But the deeper story is about transformation. The UAE has built a system where foreigners can arrive with a dream and sometimes leave with a fortune. Taxes are low or non-existent. Infrastructure is modern. Bureaucracy is surprisingly light. Of course, not everyone thrives here, but for those in tech, real estate, trade, or finance, the UAE offers a fast-moving, opportunity-rich environment. The desert may be harsh, but the rules of money are refreshingly simple. Norway might not strike you as a place to get rich. It's known for equality, not excess. But that's exactly the point. The wealth here is widely shared, thanks to oil reserves and a government that actually plans for the future. Public services are strong, corruption is low, and the Sovereign Wealth Fund, one of the largest in the world, is managed with long-term care. For entrepreneurs and investors, this creates a stable foundation. And for everyday people, it creates room to try, to learn, to invest slowly with confidence that the system won't vanish beneath your feet. Estonia is small, young, and digital, a place where bureaucracy feels like a forgotten word. The entire country functions online. You can start a business, pay your taxes, sign contracts, all digitally. And it works. Because trust in technology and institutions runs deep, this is a place where entrepreneurs feel empowered, where startups don't drown in paperwork, and where even foreign residents can become e-residents and tap into the ecosystem. Getting rich in Estonia isn't about winning the lottery. It's about access, simplicity, and a national mindset that quietly says, try something, we've made it easier. 10. Chile might seem like a surprising pick, but in Latin America, it has carved out a unique space. The economy is open. Trade agreements are numerous, and in the last few decades, Chile has embraced market reforms while still keeping a handle on inflation and debt. There's also a vibrant startup scene, especially in Santiago, where government grants support innovation and early-stage ideas. It's not without challenges, of course. Inequality is real. Politics can be turbulent. But compared to many of its neighbors, Chile offers a clearer, steadier path for those looking to build something with lasting value. Now, stepping back, what do these countries have in common? It's not just GDP or how many billionaires live there. It's a combination of factors that are harder to quantify. Trust, stability, simplicity, and a cultural openness to the idea that wealth isn't just for the few. In these places, systems tend to support ambition, not punish it. Bureaucracy doesn't strangle you, risk isn't always punished, and people are allowed to grow without having to constantly look over their shoulder. Of course, no system is perfect, and just being in one of these countries doesn't guarantee anything, but the soil matters. Some places make it easier to plant seeds and watch them grow. If you're considering a move or even just curious about how geography shapes destiny, let this be a starting point. Not a decision, but a reflection. Because while mindset matters, the ground you walk on matters too. And for those of us not living in these places, maybe it's not about packing our bags, but asking, how can we bring some of those principles into our own lives wherever we are? Can we simplify our financial lives, build resilience, ask for more transparency from systems around us, support local entrepreneurs, or simply believe that wealth, when built patiently and with purpose, is not only possible, but within reach? Thanks for staying with me to the end. This wasn't a race through flags and currencies. It was a quiet walk through the idea that money isn't just about effort, it's also about environment. If this gave you something to think about, consider sharing it with someone who's thinking about their own financial path. Sometimes, a gentle shift in perspective is all we need to find a new direction. Take care of your vision, and wherever you are, tend to it like a garden, slowly, kindly, and with the belief that it can grow.